Hi everyone and welcome to NCHC Between the Boards. I'm Greg Ankers. On tonight's show, 6 teams go head-to-head in NCHC play. We've got all the highlights from last weekend. A league member has a new identity. We'll give you the latest news from the University of North Dakota on that front, and a special guest drops by to talk about several topics surrounding the league. We'll get to all of that in just a little bit, but first we drop the puck on our Spotlight series featuring number 8 Denver against number 13 Minnesota Duluth. Denver entering as one of 3 teams tied in the top spot of the NCHC standings, coming off of a sweep against Colorado College. Meanwhile, the Duluth Bulldogs entered struggling with just 1 win in their last 6 games. And these 2 teams would play a defensive series as a whole, but there would be some scoring. Just over 5 minutes into the first, on a power play, Troy Terry works it down low to Jared Lukasevicius, who gives the Pioneers a 1-0 lead. At the other end of the rink, the puck bouncing to Tony Cameronese here, but Evan Cowley is there for the big save. Then later in the opening period, on a power play, Carson Susi gonna put a shot on net that leads to a big scramble out in front, but Cowley once again, the doorstop, keeping the puck out of his net. We stay 1-0 into the second. Denver working a power play now, and it's Lukasevicius skating in. He shoots and scores to put Denver out in front 2-0. 40 seconds after that, Denver back on the attack. Grant Arnold skating into the zone with a teammate, but Arnold takes it himself as Denver goes on to win by the final of 3-0. Cowley with 27 saves in the shutout victory. On Saturday night, Cowley out, Tanner Gillette in. Could he have a great performance? Just seconds in, Andy Walensky with the shot. Gillette there for a couple of saves to keep it scoreless just seconds in. Later in the first, Quentin Shore to Adam Plant with a big blast from the point. That gives the Pioneers a 1-0 lead as they open the scoring for the second straight night. This one, though, would stay 1-0 into the third. Duluth on the attack. A shot from the point comes out to Adam Johnson, who feeds Tony Cameronese on the deflection. Take another look. Johnson to Cameronese on the doorstep. Well done. It's tied at 1. This one goes to not 1, but 2 overtimes, and that means history. The first 3-on-3 double overtime game in the NCHC. Austin Farley on a breakaway in, no, but Cameronese's there for the follow-up as UMD gets the bonus point in the standings as this one ends in a draw, but it's history nonetheless.
Yeah, you usually either win the face-off and have possession and you score, or it goes against you. So it's a big possession game. Coach said he stressed not to force anything if we didn't have any plays. Like Andy and Dom, they went back into the play, got some new, fresh guys out there. So we liked it. We worked on it in practice so far, so we're happy with our win.
It's obviously a little different. I kind of liked it, obviously, but obviously it was new, and you see it on TV, watching the pros do it. So, I mean, it was definitely new, and it was fun.
Straight ahead, plenty of more highlights from around the NCHC, including a must-see play by North Dakota against Miami. You'll want to stick around to see this coming up next. After playing the last 3 years without a nickname, the University of North Dakota now has a new identity. The final 2 names on their nickname ballot were the Fighting Hawks and the Rough Riders, and Fighting Hawks won out with 57% of the vote. UND playing at home this past weekend against Miami for the final time as just North Dakota. And a good start to this series for North Dakota, already up 2-0 in the first. Nick Schultz skating in feeds Bryn Chiswick, who admittedly doesn't get much on us, but it's enough to get by Ryan McKay in a 3-0 UND lead after 1. In the second, great individual play here by Drake Kajula, picking off the pass at the blue line, skates in, goes 5-hole on Jay Williams, replacing McKay. Doesn't matter, it's 4-0 UND. In the third, Miami trying to mount a comeback. Great individual effort here as well by Josh Melnick, falling down on the power play, gets the goal to make it 5-2. But moments after that, what's simply being known as the play for North Dakota. Puck comes into the zone, touches 6 sticks in the span of 4 seconds. Nick Schultz follows it up with the goal. Worthy of another look, of course. Possibly the play of the year, certainly of the weekend. Great tic-tac-toe effort. Schultz with the finish once again. North Dakota goes on to win 6-2, take the opener on Friday night. How do you follow up that with an encore on Saturday? Well, less than a minute into the game, off the faceoff, Tucker Poolman with a shot from the point. Brock Besser there to tip it home, and UND takes an early 1-0 lead. But in the second, Miami answering back. Jack Roslovic, sweet move here, can't finish, but Sean Corrali is there for his first goal of the year, putting Miami out in front 2-1 after 2 in the third. Tied at 2 now. Miami regains the lead though. Louis Belpedio, great feed down low to Josh Melnick as Miami regains the lead at 3-2. But with 1:34 left to go in this one, UND on the attack. Puck bounces out to Nick Schmaltz, who goes backhand to tie it up at 3 goals apiece. This one goes into overtime in the extra session. Puck in the corner. Luke Johnson battling for it, decides to just send it towards the net, and somehow, some way, it beats McKay for the goal as North Dakota gets the sweep 4-3.
Started out with the scrum in the corner and figured I didn't really have much of a play, so why not get it to the net and maybe a lucky bounce, but shots, it's always good to shoot it.
I'm just proud of the team. I know it's, from experience, it's tough to overcome 2 1-goal leads late in the third, and just that we got through that explains our team pretty well. We have a lot of character in that room, and we have a lot of fight.
Number 9 ranked St. Cloud State traveled to Western Michigan last weekend with a focus on defense. Charlie Lindgren already with 4 shutouts on the season, and he was the NCHC Player of the Month for October. But as they left Kalamazoo following this past weekend, the Huskies are now talking about their offense. Before we get to all the offense, though, there was, of course, some defense, and it does feature St. Cloud State goaltender Charlie Lindgren. In the first, Western Michigan skating in, Matheson Iacopelli thinks he's going to get a goal, but Lindgren there for the glove save to keep it scoreless. In the second, Western Michigan gets caught on a change here, and Patrick Russell leaves it for Jimmy Murray in the goal to put the Huskies out in front 1-0. Western would answer back though later in the period on a power play. Iacopelli with the shot. Nolan Laporte follows it up with the goal to tie things up at 1 apiece after 2. But in the third, here comes the scoring from St. Cloud. On the backside of this power play is Joey Bennick. He gets the wide open easy goal there to put the Huskies out in front 2-1. Then just 3 minutes after that, it's going to be Murray comes calling again as Ethan Prow can't get the shot out, but Murray says, hey, I'm your teammate, I'll take it. That puts it, makes it a 3-1 game. St. Cloud State wins the opener 5-2 thanks to 4 third period goals, and that offense would continue well into Saturday. Just 1:19 in, it's Joey Bennick night at Lawson Ice Arena. Nobody knew going in. Bennick gets his first goal, again just 1:19 into this one. Later, still in the first, on a power play, Bennick this time gets set up for the one-timer from Ethan Prow, and that makes it a 2-0 Huskies lead. Western Michigan trying to keep the game within reach here. Still in the first period, centering feed finds Aaron Hadley for the goal. That makes it 2-1, but that would apparently just anger the Huskies that much more. As again, Bennick continues to be the story of this game. He gets his hat-trick goal here in the third. That makes it 8-1 St. Cloud State, and Bennick still was not finished. Hat-trick, yeah, that's pretty good, but on a night where you score 4 goals, this is kind of how the puck finds you. It bounces right out to Bennick's stick. St. Cloud State goes on to get the sweep 11-1 winning on Saturday night.
We came out, we got a couple of chances early, and we scored on them, which was nice. And to have that lead going into the second period was big for us. And then from there, the game kind of fell apart. It was an ugly game, but it was a strong first period, which we needed after last night's game. And after that first period, we just kept going.
For us to perform like that was certainly unacceptable. We give credit to our opponents. They played very well. They exposed us, and just certainly something that we need to correct.
And after the scoring outburst by St. Cloud State, it's no surprise we see a couple of Huskies in the NCHC Players of the Week. Offensive honors go to senior forward Joey Bennick, who had 5 goals in that sweep against Western Michigan. You saw his 4 goals on Saturday night, a total of 6 points on the weekend. Not too shabby. Defensive honors go to Ethan Prow, also from St. Cloud State. The senior missed the last 2 weeks with injury, but came back, played against Western Michigan, had a goal and 5 assists for also a 6 6-point weekend. Rookie honors go to Brock Besser, the freshman forward from North Dakota, for his 2 goals and 3 assists in a sweep over Miami. And goaltender honors go to Evan Cowley. The junior from Denver had a 27-save shutout Friday night against Duluth. He's now 4-2-0 on the season. The national polls look like this week. North Dakota holding steady at number 4 in the USCHO.com poll, followed by Omaha, St. Cloud State, and Denver in the top 10. Minnesota Duluth is ranked 17th. The USA Today poll, almost a mirror image. In fact, it is a mirror image. North Dakota 4, Omaha 6, followed by St. Cloud State and Denver at 7 and 9. The standings in the league look like this. After the third week of some league action, North Dakota and St. Cloud State tied at the top. A big battle this weekend. We're going to talk more about that coming up. They're followed by Denver, who is sitting in third with 10 points. Well, he's been in the business for more than a decade. Up next on the program, Brad Schlossman drops by to talk a little NCHC hockey. That's next. Welcome back to NCHC Between the Boards. Time to just have a little hockey talk, and for that we bring in our special guest this week, Brad Schlossman, college hockey beat writer from the Grand Forks Herald, been covering the sport for more than a decade. And Brad, before we get just right into the meat of NCHC, where does this league sit as a whole on the national stage? They've had a relatively successful non-conference record to date, but probably not as impressive as it was last year.
No, they haven't been as dominant, especially out east. That's where you really notice it. They've really dominated the WCHA and Big Ten, but then when you look out east and see that they don't have a good record against the ECAC or Hockey East, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out when the pairwise rankings start becoming relevant. And last year, the NCHC really dominated against every league they played against, and so it might be a little more interesting this year. They might not have 6 teams in the tournament this year.
Does that disparity between, to simplify it as being the West and the East, does that disparity play into the pairwise heavily? It
will, a little bit. The ECAC has been really impressive so far this year, and I think you could see that coming a little bit. So, the ECAC is putting itself in position to get several teams in the tournament. The WCHA is kind of taking it on the chin early this non-conference season, and the Big Ten hasn't been great either. But there's really 2 big rounds of non-conference games right at the start of the year, and then around Christmas and the holiday time, a lot of teams are back in non-conference. So right now we're starting to get into conference play, but come Christmas time, it'll be huge for the league to try to make up some ground.
And as we look at the league in itself, it's early on in the conference season. Of course, a lot of things will still have to be decided after the new year, of course. One surprise, I think, is maybe the start for Minnesota Duluth so far this season. They were picked preseason number 1. That always doesn't mean anything, but is there any reason that Bulldog fans should be nervous at this point?
Well, I had them as my preseason number 1 team too, so I'm also a little bit surprised. When you look up and down that lineup, they just have so much skill. I think that's what stood out to me, and a lot of these guys are getting older too, so I think the other thing you have to look at is Minnesota Duluth has played a very difficult schedule so far. Will that help them, come down the stretch run here? I think a little bit, but starting out 3-5-3, they definitely have some ground to make up.
Is that, am I accurate that that's the lone surprise within the league so far to this point, or is there anything else that's jumped out to you at this stage?
Not really. I think we all thought that CC would be at the bottom of the league, and they're struggling. They have so many new players, they're trying to rebuild that program there, and when you rebuild a program like that to play against the competition that the NCHC offers, that's not easy, so really difficult task for CC. I think Denver's record looks only okay, but that's a really good team. If you look at, they've lost, 3 times? And their 3 losses have come, 2 of them in overtime and 1 with 20 seconds left. So they are very close to being unbeaten right now. So I think Denver is, their record isn't bad, but I think they're even better than what their record shows.
And this weekend, there's a major NCHC clash clash between North Dakota and St. Cloud State at the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center, and that's a match that we're going to preview in our next segment, but want to get your thoughts on an early season NCHC showdown in St. Cloud.
Yeah, I think the two teams, their combined record so far this year is like 17 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties, which is ridiculous. But what's even more ridiculous is of those 17 wins, only one of them has been a 1-goal game. Like, so they're not even having close games, either of these teams. And the only 1-goal game came, against Miami for North Dakota last week. So it'll be a great series between two teams that really haven't been challenged a ton yet this year.
How about outside of the league? I know there's intrigue about the future of Arizona State. I know that's something that you keep tabs on. Is there any more light at this point that you can shed on where they're at or where they might end up, and maybe even when could there be an announcement happening?
Well, I think they need to make some decisions really quick here. I mean, they want to be in the league in 2 years, and scheduling happens pretty far out in college hockey. We just saw some series being scheduled like 4 years out, so they got to act on it pretty quick here.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brad. Appreciate your time, and we'll be back with more right after this break. Welcome back. When longtime UND head coach Dave Hackstall made the jump up to coach the Philadelphia Flyers in the NHL, the team was left needing to fill a void in an assistant's role after promoting longtime assistant Brad Berry to be the main leader. The team, though, did not have to look far to find an assistant. In fact, all they needed to do was call the father of an incoming freshman. Here's more on new UND assistant coach Matt Shaw.
It's on, it's in, it's on, it's in. It's your spot. That's it.
I mean, I don't think I ever aspired to coach in college again, but this one place is special.
Matt Shaw's career path changed on the morning of May 18th. Before being introduced as head coach, Brad Berry made phone calls to the incoming freshman class, an act of goodwill in light of the coaching change. One call was to Shaw, whose son Hayden was an incoming freshman defenseman.
At the end of the conversation we were having in regards to what was going to go on with the program, he kind of just, at the end, kind of threw a little party thing out there, and I hung up and I went, wait, what? And so he got my gears turning.
It turns out Matt was being recruited to join Berry's staff.
He just kind of threw something out there. He wanted to see if I was going to bite, maybe, and that got my gears turning, and then we had subsequent conversations over the next period of time.
So wait for help, rather than flip it out an I hope play. Exactly, because then you're just giving the puck back to them, and we're not in position to cover that. So just wait to fight another day. Just hold it, eat it. You'll get numbers around it. We're good again.
Where North Dakota works into it, me, is that I'm not the head coach, but I still feel like the three of us have to go out and recruit players. So I still feel like we have a say-so, or I have a say-so in the players that we bring and the style that we want to play, which is great. And that's just attributed to Brad and Dane's style to be welcome and want to know what my thoughts on things.
Both times, shot come and we're going to try to tip it. What's easier for you? Okay, so stay in here. If it's coming here, tip it. Just find a way to tip it. Let it go under your arm through your leg.
At the NHL level, from an assistant standpoint, you just don't have as much impact on the group. Contracts kind of really spell out who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, and those guys are making a lot of money and have a lot of term. So it's not so much a dictatorship as it is at lower levels. It's more a partnership and an agreement about how you're going to play.
Nice! That's it, Chiz! Love it! Right on. Just throw it there. Tough on a goalie, huh?
I think that's one of the benefits of working with different people. You'll find things that they do, that they believe in, that you haven't seen work. You might disagree with, and I've changed my convictions about a lot of different coaching things. Working with Todd McClellan for 7 years, working with Pete DeBoer, watching how Lou Lamoriello operates.
If you got a good screen and the goalie just drops, you got to be able to pick those spots just like you did. So, yep.
At the end of the day, I wish I could tell people that I planned this. I wish I could tell people that I planned to be in the USHL when my son was there, and it just didn't work that way. It just happened this way. But there's no question that this is a special spot.
And Shaw's team, the University of North Dakota, have a big matchup straight ahead this weekend. The puck drops in just moments. We've got a preview of that series, plus much more, next on NCHC Between the Boards. Welcome back. It's a top 10 showdown between the top two NCHC teams this week in St. Cloud as the University of North Dakota travels to face St. Cloud State. And in the old something's gotta give category, St. Cloud State enters this series having given up just one goal at home this season. Meanwhile, UND enters having not lost a game away from Grand Forks this year.
One of our focuses is to play a smart game and take less penalties. But, you know, obviously they don't take penalties. They're also a team that plays smart and they don't take much penalties. So I think it's huge to win the special teams.
We've really been doing well at getting pucks to the goalie's feet and getting bodies there, taking away his eyes because, I mean, no goalie can make a save if he can't see it. So he's got to get there and make it hard for him.
It should be a great series at the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center this weekend. In fact, these two teams, neither of them have swept each other in St. Cloud since 2001-2002. That's over 13 years. Should be a dandy. Meanwhile, other NCHC games this weekend. Number 6 Omaha is at Miami, and number 17 Minnesota Duluth is at Colorado College. In non-conference play, number 9 Denver traveling to Madison to face an old WCHA foe as they take on the Wisconsin Badgers. That's going to do it for our time together. Enjoy the games this weekend, everybody. We'll see you right back here Friday at 6:30 to recap all of this weekend's action. Have a good one, everyone.